We're gonna go with bubble sort. We're gonna start with quick understanding of what it really is. The bubble sort algorithm. Let me see if I have this thing up here. Bubble sort algo. Talk for a hot minute about it. Okay, bubble sort is the simplest sorting algorithm that works by repeatedly swapping the adjacent elements if they are in the wrong order. So if the order is correct, then it doesn't need to be swapped, right? So in our linear search, for example, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if you wrote some kind of logic on this vector, on this array, so to speak, then if we passed each element, if we compared the two, 1 and 2, and then 2 and 3, and then 3 and 4, every time it would not require a sort. And because it would not require a sort, we would leave it the status. The Boolean wouldn't execute, right, if we set a Boolean up. In every pass, we process only those elements that have already not moved to the correct position. So 1 and 2, they're in the correct position. Then 2 and 3, 2 is in the correct position. 3 and 4, 3 is in the correct position. 5 and 4, 4 is the right. Same thing with 8 and 5, or 11 and 9, right? So there would be no move for this if we did that, right? So that's the general idea. A link we can use is that. So that's bubble sort, right? We could do from linear search. What we used is we use that. We could do IO streamer. We could do vectors. We could do all of these. We don't want to use that big. Apparently, from my last call, when we were going over the linear search, one of the attendees on the call told us that in C++, this import statement just imports all the libraries in the language. So we don't want to do that. That's not cool. We want to just include stuff that we need specifically. Right, so let's start with main, like that, right? And then we can go over here, and then we could do our vector int. If you remember, we could take that. We put it over here. We could call it data, like that. All right, and then these numbers inside it, we could change them, like 64, 34, 25, 28, 12. Okay, so that's just a random set right there, an array. Okay, so we do something like C out. Okay. We print stuff out. If you remember in here, we had our print statements over here. We take that. We can go over here, put that in here. Because we're using the standard namespace, we don't need this. And we don't need that. Yeah, this is data, right? Because we just created data, right? And then okay, the vector. The array is blah blah blah. The original array is let's look over here. How did I put in here over here? Why is this whining? Because half the codes go from here. I wonder if I could just use the whole line. Why don't I just use the whole line? Use this like that. That. It still didn't fix these two arrows. Why are they flying? 1, 2, 3. Let's go here. Oh. The moment you put data, it starts crying. First it's here, but then into data, it won't take it. So you can't print a vector in here? Is that what it is? Why would it? That's really weird. Remove this. Let's find out what the error is. A helper function. That is wild. Okay, so the Google link for this thing is this helper function for array out C++. So you have to write a helper function basically. So in order to print this array out, this vector out, we have to write a help function, right? And why do we have to write a helper function? Is because internally, when you make a custom data type, you have to write a function to parse every integer out and then print it out. We're gonna do it like this, right? So we go void. This is quite void print array like that, and then in here we're gonna do const vector t integer. That's the and array. Okay, so we're going to pass the array into this, and of course we're going to have to call it down here. So let's control X this. The way to do it is we would call it directly by the name, right? So we print array like that. If you can see it right there. And then inside we would just pass in data directly like that. For and num colon array. This is like heavy duty procedural programming. Well, it's very that colon. We just put this together really quick. Then you would go here, you would do a cout. Like that. And right there, and then we would, this wouldn't work, this would return 0, like that. Did I do in the right line? Is on the right line. Okay. It would be C out. Oh, wow. Did I get it all? Did I miss anything? I don't think. Why is this? Insert that. Okay, I don't know what it did. Let's see what it did. Control Z. Insert. Oh, never mind. At the end of this, so every line you have to put a semicolon. Like if you notice, every line that I have that is not part of the function, like this is inside these two curly brackets, and this is a for loop, but at the end of the for loop, it has to be. All right. I'm excellent. I'm excellent. I got something here. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to run a debugger right here. We're going to put a debug point right there. We're going to put a debug point right there to see how many times this loop is going to run. This loop should run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Unlike your Python indexes that start at 0, this particular index starts at 1 in C++. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right. So 90. When we do our sort, this is not in order. In the linear search, if you remember, we were looking for number 8, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at the 6th position, right? So if we just run this program, we should get an output of 8 over here on the console, right? It said the 8 is found at position 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So it says, hey, integer, go in linear search, keep incrementation, keep looping through each object that you have. This I+1 is an incrementation, and that's what it is basically, right? But this one we're not searching specifically for anything. Like we gave an int and the key, and we passed that function, inherited that function into in the linear search inside main. We called it, and that's how we searched it, right? So for this one, for bubble sort, what we're doing is we're going to take these two right here. We're going to write compare logic, and we're going to make these two. It's going to compare these two, and it's going to swap them. Then 64 will be over here, right? And 34, then 64 and 28 will get compared, and then it'll get swapped, and 64 will go to the right. So it'll be 34, and then the 34 and 28 needs to be compared, and it needs to get swapped, right? And then because bubble sort, that's just how it works, right? It always looks to your right and then tries to go ahead and do a sort of that object, right? So it does adjacent sorts. If you go up here, you can see that that's what this link is over here, right? It's going to give you an idea of what we're going to try and build out over here. That's what we're using for inspiration, right? But slowly you'll see how the program gets built out, right? So the first thing we did is we got a random array. Then we just tried to print the array out on the console. That's just what it is, right? Yes. Bubbling. All right. So now that we have this, what we could do is we could try and write the actual bubble sort now, right? So the way we're going to write this thing is void up here. Sort vector and just like this right here, right? So we're going to copy that thing right there. We're going to put that in there, right? And then we're going to give it two curly braces because that's the syntax. The C++ syntax is just so different from Python. Yeah. The bubble sort and merge sort that they make me do in my I just finished my algorithms class this weekend. I'm finishing it. It's done this weekend. I ended up with like a 99 or something in it, right? But in the beginning, they did bubble sort and merge sort, and in Python, that in Python, it ended up being like 200 lines, and it was so bad, man. I had to debug every line to run it over and over again to truly understand how it works, right? And it was just so it was a trip, right? It was a complete trip. Let me see if I can show you my GitHub. That is not it. That's my GitHub for what did we do bubble sort. Here, what we did develop sort hashes, lists, sorting algorithms. 1, 2, 3. Merge sort, here it is. Merge. Bubble sort. This is the bubble sort swap. Do you see that? Yeah, they are good for building intuition. So what I did is I took this kind of a dictionary, right? And I put in ages that were just not, and then I did a repetition as well, and then I ran it through this sort, um, this bubble sort, right? It's literally the same thing that we're going to try and do now, right? We're going to try and do this thing over here. So what we're going to do is we're gonna set the size of the array. So int n is equal to, I wonder what happened. No. Okay. Size colon number. We got that thing is a. All right. So now the for loop. Okay. For like that, and then that. So that's the basic structure, right? The syntactical structure of this thing. Now, in here, you give int inside, say int I is equal to, we want to start it at 0, colon I, and minus 1, maybe minus 1. Okay, I plus plus. So this is an increment, right? So this is the idea here is to get incrementation. That's why you start I at 0. You compare it to n, which is the size of the array. You say, oh, well, n minus 1, and is it less than I, right? So when I is 0, right? So the size of the array, I mean, we know the length that we're passing here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So why will this for loop run, right? We initialize I to 0, then we say I is less than the value of 7 minus 1, which is 6, which it is. 0 is less than 6. So increase I by 1. So increase it to 1. And then after all that jazz is done, then execute the code that's inside it, right? So we create a Boolean, we call it swapping, and we say that it's false, right? So a Boolean variable, true, false, whatever we set that, we hard code that value in there or whatever, and now the outer loop is going to check, is basically just circling through all of these, right? So if you do a print statement in here, just right there, like we do a C out of the n value, it'll just give you a length, right? And if we call this function inside print array, it'll go ahead and actually print out the actual values of the whatchamacallit, of the array, right? So again, we can't get the details of the array out unless we call this function. When we tried to print it out in an out directly, you saw the challenges we were running into earlier, right? So we're going to go over here and we write another for loop. So the structure will again be for, it'll be that, and it'll be 2 of these curly braces like that. And we're going to say int j is equal to 0. J is less than n minus I this time, right? So whatever the value is that we set for I, because we increase it from 0 to 1, and then we're going to say, hey, whatever the value of the next one to the right is, how is that in comparison to our I value, right? Then we just go to J++, just do incrementation, further incrementation. I want to make sure that I did this correct. Is the syntax right? I don't think this needs that at the end of this. Okay, so we don't need to semicolon here. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to do the swap, right? So if the if statement, this is the actual swap, right? And we're going to do, when set swapped is equal to not like that. Swapping is equal to false. It has to be call swapping. Like that. Right? Did I do it right? Did. Array J is greater than array J plus 1. Is that not where I think I want to do it? Did you ever see these sorting algorithms on YouTube? Volume warning, turn volume down if you click it. Do good friend. I'm checking it out. And I got a bunch of YouTube videos, obviously. What is it, bubble sort? I tried to sort my cards by bubble sort and I got 5. Okay. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is so cool, man. I like the video. I like the video. Bravo. Thank you. It's cool. It's very distracting. I'm getting close to finishing this, and I'm going to go hang out. Just keep staring, ogling at this thing. Like, whoa. I mean, I don't have any volume on. I should probably. Oh, I see it. It's sorting left to right. What a nice image. Like a nice like video. Yeah. It's so good, right? It builds intuition. So thank you for sharing that. It's super cool, my dude. Okay. So let's do the if statement in here. So what we want to do is we want to. So if you arrays in in C++ are accessed via the index, right? So over here, J and I, all of these are integers. So if you give an integer as a non-floating type number, right? So if we put that in here, then it's going to give us a part of a specific call over here. So we know we initialize this as 0, and then we initialize this as 0 as well, right? So we know that we're always going for the first one here, and the inner loop is going for 34, right? So we want to do array J is greater than array J plus 1, right? Let me type it and not make a mistake. J plus 1, right? So that's where it is. So if that is true, then we wanted to do something. We want to do the swap, right? And this thing, C++, the programming language, has a beautiful swap inbuilt, right, that we can use. So we can just say array J, array J plus 1. Like that. Okay, and then you can see this is whining again because that Python habit, we have to break that. We have to put a semicolon at the end of all of our sentences, otherwise it'll whine and whine and whine. And over here, so if not swapped, break. All right. That should do everything. Okay, so that's our bubble sort. Now, if we build it, we're gonna see an issue with it, and it's not gonna run because in our main we haven't called it, right? So see if we can just make it from here. Okay, your policy, C code files, C code files. Let's do a okay, we're in the right place. We go to CMake and we need to add the executable, right? The name of the file is bubblesort.cpp or whatever. So we go here, we do bubble sort. We're using the CMake. No, why did I hit Control C? Copy, paste, save. Okay. Why am I getting this error here? Configuring incomplete. See documentation. For policy CPM 024 more details. Configuration incomplete. CMake, you're supposed to be in. Let's do a new terminal. Just cause we do a present working directory. We're in the C file. It's in the right place. When would one need the bubble sort? You know, I'm guessing when you have tons of data coming in. Beef. I'm sorry. I didn't see your message till right this moment. Uh, right. So to address this, the you would. I'm trying to think of like real world scenarios. Um, let's say you're on your Facebook, right, and you have your friends list, right, and or even in your iPhone, you go in over here and you go to the little phone thing and you go to contacts, right, and all your contacts are alphabetized, right, and the operating system is almost, I can almost guarantee that it's using a bubble sort inside to place them. So the moment you put a name in there, it alphabetizes it, right? And what it does is the swap, and checks where to place it and probably finds an internal index for that name and sticks it in there. I'm guessing, right? Uh, that's one place where it could be applied. Any other place where you want to alphabetize or you want to use a numeric order for things, you could probably use it there. Um, does that sufficiently answer your question, or is there something else plaguing your mind about it? Um, Okay. It's a solid question, actually. And I don't know why I'm not able to build my code. Basically, this build directory right here is what the CMake does. So when you go into CMake, you can you run it with just running it from here like this? Yes, you can. You absolutely can. That's what it just did, right? So it just printed out the original array. It's not printed. We've not run the bubble sort so far. So just this section of code has run. You've not been able to run this second piece, right? And I don't know why it's whining. Why are you whining, man? Standard vector and namespace, vector int and array. This array should not be whining. I don't know why it's being a punk. Any ideas? Let me know if you can figure out why. In the meantime, we just go bubble sort, and then we give data, right? And then we go to the end. It's going to whine unless we give it the thing, right? And we give it a new line. And then so we run the bubble sort, and then we give it C out. That. And we run this again. Okay. So if you run that right there, that should give you the original and then the sorted, right? Okay, so that should take care of business for us, right? And that concludes our bubble sort, right? If you have any more questions, let me know. Send me a message on we're gonna say Teams, but on here, on Twitch, Facebook, LinkedIn, or I feel like there's one more stream we do on YouTube. Either way, thank you so much for joining me. Take it easy, and I will see you in the next C++ work through that we do. Thank you so much.